Hello everybody. I realized I just recorded a video and I said at the end of the video I'd show you the new spreadsheet. And then I forgot to do that bit. So here's a little standalone video about the spreadsheet, about my spreadsheet. If you've never seen the spreadsheet before, it's been a few videos since we talked about the spreadsheet. If you have seen the spreadsheet before, you may notice that all of this individual hand grade thing has gone. I stopped recording individual hand grades. I used to go through the whole game and go 5 S pluses, 2 S's, 1 S minus, etc, etc. I realized I wasn't getting anything out of that. It was more just sort of to stroke my own ego, more than actually like I wasn't like noticing any trends with it or anything. Like it was always just roughly about the same, roughly. And then sometimes I'd get, sometimes you'd get an S plus on a hand where you just reach eat on turn 2. And then sometimes you'd get a B minus on a hand where somebody else reached on turn 2 and your first choice was inefficient, and then they sumo patsued and you're just sort of like, oh. And Maka gives you a B minus. So, so that's the first thing I would say, is that obviously all of these stats are to be taken with a grain of salt. The date, the week number, just so I can plot trends over weeks on a pivot chart if I want to. They're all in the Jade room on the spreadsheet. When I first designed the spreadsheet, I kind of thought, well, I better put the room just in case I demote, and that hasn't happened. The Maka grade, and then a numerical value for the Maka grade. So this is just S plus is 1, S is 2, so on. Just so that I can also, chart an average, use a numerical value for averages and stuff. This is the Mortal Bad Move Analyzer. So when you go to the Mortal engine and there is a script that you can install via Tamper Monkey to automatically count for you the number of moves the engine gave a less than 1% rating for. And this is the most important stat on this spreadsheet, I would say, is noticing this and noticing these errors. And I'm just going to hide this notes column because it's making all of the verticality of the cells in what's the word I want? Non-uniform. There we go. It's annoying me. So this is the most important stat. This is directly correlated to Maka grade for sure, but it's also one of the only stats that is directly correlated to your win rate and more importantly your 4th place rate. The higher this number is, the worse you tend to be doing on a regular basis. It's very hard to make moves that are less than 1% engine approved and also win, because the moves are just so often so outlandish, or they're so dangerous, Again, it's a percentage, right? So like sometimes you'll play a game that's over in like 2 seconds flat, and this number might be quite high, and sometimes you'll play a game where your Maka grade was low, but this number is also fairly low just because you played so many hands. Some ended up repeating 5 or 6 times, 6 or 7 times even. So this stat is very important. And you can see here, this one. So a game like this I don't worry too much about. My region for this is about 5 to 8%. And from research that I've done myself, between 5 and 8% is like totally acceptable. You're never gonna get it very low. And I've pro players, Saint level players will also find themselves getting 1% move ratings of around that. Lower obviously if they're very, very good. But zero is a pipe dream for this one. So we try to get it as low as we can. And if we start noticing that we're getting a bit, as you can see here, the most recent, you can see here we're correlated first, second, third, second, first, second. These are all correlated with fairly decent 1% move ratings. And then as of late, the last few days, they're looking a bit worse, and our performance is showing from that, except for this one, so whatever. How much ELO I gained or lost from that game, and then a running total sum of that. So we were doing really well. We were doing really well, and then we've just been down in the dumps recently. But our elo is still, ever since the start of the spreadsheet at least, we're only down 136 points since the very beginning of the spreadsheet. And then a whole bunch of moving averages just for trends. Rank moving average over 50 games. Macca moving average over 50 games. So yeah, so S minus is a 3 and A plus is a 4. So we mostly get between A plus and S minus. And our 1% moving average is climbing at the moment, which is not good, but it's still in that 5 to 8% threshold. Very minor changes, and then the 5% and the 10% not hugely important. And then this one is just elo change over time. I mean, it's not really that important to track the average of that, but I thought it was interesting at least. Right, chart. Oh, hang on, I haven't updated this pivot table. Just quickly let me update this pivot table. Boom. There we go. How often we come first, second, third, and fourth, and what mortal grade that is. So you can see something from this chart, I suppose. We've come second a lot on this spreadsheet, and we've come fourth more than we've come first, which is upsetting. What's happened to these charts? Why are these charts all overlapping? Get back in your place, mate. What are you doing? Get back in your section. Elo sum and its trend. Hooray, a trend line. Love a good trend line. And then the 50 game average elo change. These charts are basically the same thing, but you know. So we had a really good spell here. And then we've lost a bit. But it's not the first time this has happened. It happened there, and it happened there, and it happened there, and it happened there, and it happened when we first started this spreadsheet. I've got there's a hidden sheet in here from the previous year. How do I see my hidden sheets? Or did I just delete it? It's possible I just deleted all that data. Would I have hidden that sheet? Ah, there we go. This is the first version of the spreadsheet from July last year when I was back in the gold room. But it's still not. I was tracking opponents' grades with that. I ended up realizing that wasn't really telling me anything. Again, that was me that was just copium. That was like, oh well, I came fourth and got an S minus, but my opponents only got an A plus, an A minus, and a B. Oh, clearly I'm better than everybody else. So I realised that wasn't actually helping me. That was just making me get a fourth place and then brushing it off as bad luck when instead of learning a lesson from it. 1% moving average hands, 5% and 10% you also get in that Tampa Monkey script. I don't know if the trend line on a moving average is that good. I'm not a statistician, all right? Okay, let's just get this out of the way. I'm not a statistician. This might be completely useless. If you've got a good idea for how to present this data, then that's fine. This trend line it's still trending down. It is definitely trending down, but it's trending down from like 8% down to like 7.5%. But that is meaningful. That is still meaningful. A trend line on a moving average, is that good? Don't think it is really. This is our 1% moving average correlated with our rank. And you can see here, we had a period over here where our 1% moving average was like down in the 7%, but our rank was still sort of hovering. Well, what I should really do actually while I'm here is I should not have the moving rank scale. Vertical axis, minimum. I mean, if our rank ever goes below 2 or above 3, something has gone seriously wrong, hasn't it? So let's do it like this. Then we can see a bit more, get a bit more of a better look. All right, that's better. So our 1% moving average. and our rank moving average. So our rank was really, really good at one point, moving average 2.32. But that was not correlated directly with our 1% moving average going down. But that's interesting to see, at least. Sort of see it climbing back up again here. This is what we want to try and avoid. We've learned some valuable lessons in recent games. And then this is our rank moving average against the Macca moving average. So this is why it's good to have the numerical value for the Macca grade. So 3.6 is like in between an S- and an A+. Somewhere in between there. And our rank moving average, oh god, this was a bad time. Rank moving average 2.72. Good lord, that was this period of time. So oof, big oof on that one. And then for some reason this chart is by itself. Probably should put it somewhere. Rank moving average, Macca moving average. Oh no, it's not. It's just here twice. Delete. Goodbye. And then yeah, that pivot table just controls this one. So this is what I kind of use to just keep an eye on things, how they're going, if things are starting to slip. It's much more, since the last time I showed you, it's much more easily updatable as well. Like I'm not putting in as much work into this as I was before. And somebody asked me if they could have a copy of it, and I said you could have a copy of it, but it would take you about 10 years to learn all the individual things you have to change every time you put more data in. And thankfully that's not the case anymore. Thankfully, if we just put in here that we gained 1,000 elo from this, it does it itself. Oh, and there's some vague averages down here, like global averages and stuff. And yeah, this is like 350 games almost. 346 games, which still isn't really that many if you think about it, but man, we sucked at the beginning. Oh my god, how was I even surviving in the Jade Room? Look at this. Minus 1,322 elo, 2.72. We literally started, our average of the first 50 games on the spreadsheet is 2.72. Oh god! What the hell happened here? Touches ground. Something happened here. So, it's cool. It's useful. It shows you a few things that Amikomoro doesn't show you. I guess. Mostly this 1% thing, because you have to go to Mortal for that. So anyway, yeah, I'll publish this like at the same time as today's game video, or maybe I'll make it an unlisted video and pin it in the comments of that video where I said no, I should publish this because some people will want to watch this by itself. Yeah, okay, all right. And then if you're desperate, if you want your own copy of this, you will have to install this Tamper Monkey thing, which you can Google. I'm not going to do a tutorial on it because I'll get it wrong. And then yeah, if you don't use Chrome, you might be out of luck. So I don't know how it works. I really don't know how it works. The other thing, you could just manually do this. You could just count your 1% moves. Would be laborious, but you could do it. And maybe this is just a bit too much for you. Maybe this is a bit much of a muchness. But there we go. Anyway, spreadsheet. Spreadsheet update. Done. And then we've got it all in a pivot table as well. So we could, in theory, right, like make a new pivot table and do some other data for it. Like, maybe. Can't think of anything off the top of my head. It'd be interesting to see. I mean, I guess this one kind of does it. Both of my S+ grades have been 4th places, so that's funny. We get more S's and come second than we do first. We get more S- and come second than we do first. And then my only 2 B+ grades have been 1st and 2nd. So there's no justice, folks. There's absolutely no justice. Alright, cool. Yeah, thanks for watching. Subscribe if you want more Riichi Mahjong content, and I'll see you around. Bye bye.